We got Devin Clark versus Daun Jung. Um, this one, you'll see another common thread is I'm going with the Asian, not just because he's Asian, kind of a coincidence, but yeah, I'm going with the man Daun Jung. Even though he's coming off of a loss, so is Clark. This guy, he went 15 fights unbeaten, and that includes a bunch in the UFC. He lost his last fight, and I think that was like a very weird situation. I don't know if you've seen that, but usually he fights very composed, very disciplined with his guard. He's throwing straight punches, picking his shots. And in his last fight, I think maybe because it was on an ABC card, so there's a lot more exposure, he was like taunting the guy. He had a very awkward style, like with his head movement. Not that awkward is even bad. Sometimes that's good, especially like to throw them off a traditional style of fight. But he doesn't fight this way, and it was very odd to me in his last fight against Dustin Jacoby. So as long as he goes back to how he normally fights, he's not taunting, making faces, not dropping his hands just to, look cool or whatever. I think he's got the knockout power. He's got the good striking, good kicks to take out Devin Clark, who's also coming off of a TKO loss. How about you?
Yeah, it's very interesting what you said, and I want to connect with that. Like what I saw him, he's basically mirroring his opponents. You know,
Mhm.
Jacoby is like a really good kickboxer. Like and until his last fight, like he was like on the tear. And even
Yeah.
that, like I think it was split decision against Roundtree. It was amazing match. I cannot now exactly remember how it finished, but I know it was a crazy matchup, and he
Mhm.
had like honestly, Jacoby had like a 7 or 8 in a row that he won until that moment. Uh, Maybe even more. 4, 8, 9 fights undefeated. Only one was draw. You know, and so let's say even that defeat, it was like against the fighter on the tear, and the reason why he did that, he throw more kicks than usual. Like you said, he was
Yeah.
moving weirdly, like he's trying to emulate his opponent. Usually, like you said, he's standing there, heavy boxing oriented,
Mhm.
and just like finding the little bit opening to finish really with his powerful punches. Like we saw what he did to Kennedy, if I'm not mistaken, with the elbows. Like that was
Yeah.
beautiful. He's just like feeling like that 1-2, finding the opening. When he find the opening, he's maximally exploring. Um, Talking about this matchup, I went with the underdog. Like I think Devin Clark is like the most, and his UFC score I think is 7-7, and that's
Mhm.
crazy. Like I think he have much higher quality than his score is saying. Uh,
Yeah.
Something is going on with this guy, and I don't know what it is. Like even his father from the corner. I don't know. Did you have opportunity to hear like how he's screaming, and it's really interesting, like the communication and having the father in the corner. That was like super, and it stayed in my head, uh, considering the Devin. I don't know. He's still his father in his corner, because now I think last couple of fights he moved to elevation, but I
Okay.
know from the fights before, that was like something that was super interesting to me. But like, let's talk about his fighting abilities. Like he has an amazing wrestling, huge
Mhm.
legs like a tree trunks. Like very explosive. When he lunged forward, like most of the fighters, he put them to the ass. Like even Rakic that he lost by KO, he managed to put him, I think, even 2 times to the ass, and then Rakic has to stand up, and who else he fought? Like I know many guys that he managed to put in knockdown, but he couldn't like finish. When he moved in heavyweight, he got a KO, and I think that was like uh, not his last before that fight when he moved to heavyweight. So something is going on really awkward with him, that I guess maybe he's cutting too much weight. so he doesn't have like really power to finish. But like he's all around fighter, you know. It just
Mhm.
like he doesn't show up, and I think this is gonna be perfect matchup for him because like Down Young's wrestling is not good, so he can explore that. And even like if you see like his some position that he defending in wrestling is like unorthodox, he's trying to go um, to Kimura's, this, that. I think against good wrestler, he can punish that. Like, you know, he
Mhm.
just needs to be watching about his head because like one time like I saw really nicely from Young guillotine that he managed
Yeah.
to yeah. So maybe that's something that he has to be careful, but like I think his wrestling can really help him in this match, and maybe he can get a victory, and especially on plus 200, I pick him to win this one.
Yep, I'm going with the Jung, but you know, Devin Clark, he has fought higher caliber fighters, and I do think that kind of is reflects in his record, right? Because he doesn't have the most spectacular winning record, but he's fought some of the toughest guys in that division. So I'm going with Jung, but I can't say I'd be surprised if, you know, Devin Clark, the veteran, shows him what's up this weekend.
Yep, I agree. I agree.